I'm very, very excited for this first session of Club Excel. Um, if we do run through, we've tried to test it out completely over and over again, but if we do run into some technological problem, I apologize. We're going to learn from it. Oh, there's one who cannot hear us. Yep. So as I said, there will be you never know with technology, something might happen. We have checked out everything, but in case it does, I apologize. We will be putting this up on YouTube anyway, so you can watch it later. Yeah, I think one more minute and then we're going to start off. I'm excited about this because it has been something that I was really passionate about. If you know that our L&D, learning and development, our objective is to make things easier, simpler, faster for you. And Excel was one of the ways I always saw a need for Excel, and not just in Nenco Group and everywhere. And that has forced us to do something about it. It's the simplest way to save your time and save a lot of effort. We have about 60 people who joined in. Poll says most 50 of them can hear me. The ones who've just joined in, we haven't started yet. Can you please put in your vote, the poll, if you can hear me? So that just gives us a feedback of whether everybody is able to hear me clearly. That will be great. The ones who can't, there's just one person who is unable to hear me, two people actually. Would you be able to check your computer system, please? Your mic, your speakers should not be on mute. I think it's, if 55 people can hear and 3 can't, that means you will have to check your system settings. I think it's on your side. Right, so I think it's time and we are going to start. Thank you very much. All right, welcome everybody to the first session of Club Excel. We are going to talk about foundation of Excel and printing. Let's start off. We have done the poll. So something about me, and I wanted to put up this about myself because just to tell you what my background has been and what I have learned through my background about Excel, and how this Excel program is going to be different from something that you may find off the shelf. I have done my MBA and certain certifications in learning and development, but my journey started from marketing. I became a product manager for a large bank, and I continued with that with a few other banks. And then I moved into learning and development. So when I was doing my product development and product management, I was working on Excel a lot of times, up to about financial modeling and macros and VB scripting. I've had the opportunity to work in a few countries and in really well-known organizations. Just a moment. You cannot come on? That's all right. All right, so we'll continue. Sorry about that. Right, so let's just continue with what is Club Excel. Club Excel is simply, I found that there were a couple of kinds of different trainings in my career to do with Excel. One is a 8-hour training. You just sit through a classroom training and you learn a lot, like a lot. And then there is things like e-learning, online training, so 3-hour sessions. Again, there's a lot of data dump on you, so lots of formulas and a lot of information download. And I felt that we don't really get an opportunity to practice some of the stuff. We only take back maybe 5% of it. So we decided to break up our Excel trainings into bite-sized trainings. So every month, starting from February up until November, we will have 10 different sessions. Each session is going to focus on some part of it will be for the beginners and some part of it for the intermediate. Again, we have different levels of people. So if I'm talking a little basic, I apologize, but we want to make sure everybody is on the same page. But in between the lines, we will also touch on some things which might cater to your intermediate levels. This is all pragmatic, tailored learning. We are not going to go into the very, very basics. We are not going to go into theories. We're not going to go into formations or formulas. We are going to just talk about simple stuff, which I'm going to tell you later. Recorded, this session is being recorded. It is also being streamed live on YouTube, and it will always be there for you to come back and refer to it. I'll just take you through the session structure. We're going to state a problem. We're going to do a solution on Excel, and we're going to do it together. I've already emailed you the example file. Hope you've received it. And then so we're going to do problem, solution, and then towards the end of the session, we're going to have a shortcut or a feature of the month. This shortcut could be a keyboard shortcut or anything which is saving you time. Again, for me, if you're even saving a couple of seconds and that extrapolated to the number of people and the number of times you're using it, it just adds up to it. And then we're going to do a 2-minute recap right towards the end of the session. Right, so everybody is ready to go. I have just been told that some of the people might not be able to hear me, so I'm just going to start this again. Is everybody able to hear me? I apologize to do it again, but I just want to know that you're with me and you're on the same page. Yep, I think we're good. Excellent. Right, I'm going to end the polling now. Thank you for your immediate response. I'm going to share the result. Yep, that's it. So let's start off with our problems of today. As I said earlier, today we are talking about two things: foundation and printing. So let's talk about our problems or issues for today. We'll always select five problems. The first one is, we'll discuss, it's not such a problem, but it's more of a 5 main parts of Excel. So, you know, the nomenclature, the names of those parts. So when I'm talking to you about it later in the next sessions, you would know what I'm talking about, and you can follow me with those exact names. Then let's talk about printing. So the problem is, my data is printed across different pages. I want it on one single page. How do I do that? The second problem is, there is too much data on one page. It's really small. I am unable to read it. How can I manage that in a better way when I'm printing it? The third one is, I want to print different parts of an Excel sheet, and I want to print it on one page, or I want to be able to print it on separate pages, but I want to do it together. I don't want to just go into one sheet, select something, print it, and then do the same thing again. I want to be able to do it in one shot, and you can do it. So that's 4. And the last one is, I want to control the printing output, where the data should come on the next page. So let's say you have a lot of data, and let's say you have about 150 fields, but then the structure is such that you want the first 50 to be on the first page, the next 50 to be on the second page, and then the next 50 on the third page. But Excel is not letting you do that. And we can really be in command and tell Excel what and where to print, how much to print on each page. So we're going to talk about that. So first, we're going to go on to these 4, we're going to club them together, and we're going to do some exercises on our example page. And that's how we're going to just do all of these together. And towards the end of it, we'll see if we have addressed these 4 problems in a broader way. Right, so let's go on. 5 main parts of Excel. So we all can call them by the same name going forward. These are the 5 areas. We have the formula bar. See this bar right here? This is called the formula bar. In our next sessions, whenever we create a formula or a function, it will always be constructed here. The second one is rows and the column. So you see these would be rows, and these would be columns. So in Excel, the columns are denoted by alphabets. So there is A, B, C, D, E, and so on. After Z, it comes to AA and BB and so on. In rows, we have numbers. So I will just move on to Excel. And I will open up a sheet here just to explain to you. This is a column B. This is a row 10. And if I click on this cell, the cell name is B10. So the B and 10. So that's a cell name. If I click here, this would be X26. That's the name of the thing. So you would always know that you're on a column X and on, row 26 and column X. That's the cell name. Okay, let's go back. Then you have the ribbons. Now you see these beautiful things up here. Now these are all ribbons. There are loads and loads of types of ribbons. You can actually add some and remove them from the options. We're not going to do that today, but there are some, these are called the ribbons. This entire thing is called ribbon. There is the home ribbon, the insert ribbon, the page layout ribbon. So when I say ribbon, this is what it means. Just to give you a quick tip, if you want more space here, you can right click and you can say, I want to collapse the ribbon goes away. You have more space to work. And then if you want the ribbon back, you just go here and you say, I want the ribbon back. Here you go, and you can uncheck the ribbon. So this is the ribbon. Sometimes there are a few more ribbons which come in as and when I will just show you an example. Let's say if I insert a shape. Now look on the right side here. Next to this, once I insert the shape, a new ribbon has come in. It's called shape format. It wasn't there before, it's come in now. Okay, so just to show you that ribbons will keep adding up as and when you do more stuff on Excel. So that's the ribbons. Then we have the sheet and the sheet names. Let's do this. So these are all sheets. These are different sheets. You can add more sheets. You can change the name of the sheet by double clicking here and change the name of it. Again, these names are very critical. You will find it out later, but it's always good to name them. And you can also move them around. So I want the name to come in the front. So I'll just click and drag it. Easy. Just click and drag. Simple. Now, again, I would like to apologize if I'm going a little faster, but you can always go back to the YouTube channel and see it. I'm doing this because we have only limited amount of time. We want to cover up everything. The zoom bar and the zoom view, the view bar. This is the zoom and the view bar. Let's go on to Excel. So this is the zoom. You can zoom stuff using this scroll, and you can view. These are the different views. We're not going to go into them right now, but this is something that we'll be talking about in the future. So those are the 5 things on Excel. Those are all the things you need to know. There are more stuff, but we're not going to go into that. And then now is the good time to please open up the example 1 I sent you via email. If you could all open them up. I'm just going to, again, I'm going to just take a quick poll again so that I can understand that you're listening to me and everybody is with me and everybody can hear me clearly. Sorry about that. It's just my way of taking your feedback that you are, it's not like, you know, I keep speaking and there's nobody on the other side. Right, so 57 people can hear me now. Yep, good, okay, we're good. I'm gonna end that, thank you. Right, so everybody's opened up their example 1. I'm just going to switch to Excel and here you are. This is example 1. I created this sheet, so I'll just write it. This is your example 1. I want you all to go into the sheet called order 50, please. Order 50. Now this is an example of a data dump that you probably get from most of your reports, right? So this is, I'm just going to explain to you, this is a simple order. Some company in the US, it has the order date, the shipping date, the ship mode, customer ID, different things. And it goes on till the quantity, discount, profit. Just an example. And this is most of what the rough data dumps from any system look like. They look like this. So what I do is my first step, whenever I get an Excel data dump, I do chaos, especially if I have to print something, right? Chaos means clean, hide, adjust, orientation, and setup page. For me, this does not work. My brain does not understand what is happening, so I will clean it. How do I do that? Step one, I will clean it. How do I do that? You go into view and you remove the grid lines. Now you see those grid lines have just gone. So my brain is less confused now. Checks always psychologically make you confused, right? So you remove the grid lines, and now the grid lines are gone. The second step that I do is I select the row of the heading row, and I make it bold, and maybe I highlight it. So now I know that these are my headings and I can see them clearly. Okay. So that's cleaning. The third part in cleaning is that we will, hide. What we are going to do now is, I know I need to send this report to my manager. My manager is interested in the row ID, in the number. They are not really interested in the ID. So I can hide this. They are not interested in the customer ID because the customer name is mentioned. I can hide it. So basically, I'm just removing all this stuff. So the country is US. I know all the fields are US. So I'm going to hide it more. The postal code, my manager does not require this. They can check it from the city and the state. In fact, I want to remove the state because the region is mentioned here. Product ID, I don't think they'll be interested in. Product name, not so much. The category is sufficient. The subcategory is sufficient, and so on. So now I have hidden stuff that I don't necessarily need. Now, I've not deleted it. I've just hidden them. To unhide it, I see these double lines. That means there is K and L have been hidden. So unhide it. I will select these two, right click and unhide. They're there. So I'm not deleting anything. I'm just hiding stuff so that I can unhide them later. So I have hidden the stuff. So I've cleaned it. I've hidden it. Now is the time to adjust. What do I mean by adjusting? I mean adjusting so that I am unable to read the full names here. Yeah. So I will come here, see this G towards the end, double click, and it'll adjust to this width of the column. I'll make it longer or shorter. So I do that. I adjust so nothing is hidden. I can actually drag it and make it a little wider so that it looks much more digestible and looks good. Okay. Now, sometimes, just a point here, you can also select all the rows and columns by clicking here. Sometimes you will get fonts which are something like Arial or Times New Roman. Now you see this Arial font, and the psychology behind fonts is this is really consuming a lot of space in your head, in the brain. It is making the brain work. So the best font that I like to use is Calibri. Now you see the font is much more smaller. It looks better. So I like to select everything, convert it into Calibri, maybe 12 or 11. It's much more, it looks better. Let me just zoom in. Yep, looks better. Now I have cleaned it. I have hidden stuff. I have adjusted the rows. But here, if you see, the rows in quantity is taking up too much space, and that is because the heading is taking up too much space. So what I want to do is I want to change the heading to maybe make it smaller and then adjust it. So now quantity is, the heading is not taking up too much of my space. All right. So once I've done this, then we have to check the orientation. We will go into file, we will go into print, and these are the things I'm going to talk about now. Okay. So right now your file looks like it's printing like this. It's printing on 6 pages. It's printing the first page, then the second page, and it's just not right. This is not what I want. So let's start off with something called scaling. The scaling is really helpful tool. We're going to talk about scaling, margins, and orientation here. So scaling is really helpful if you say fit on one page. What it does is it tries to fit everything on one page. But if you notice, it's really small. And the data is more landscape than portrait. So what I want to do is I want to help change the orientation to landscape here. Okay, so here you go. This is landscape. So now the data is much more taking up the space. The paper is not empty, and I can see that much more clearly. But then again, I want it to be, you see these white spaces? These are called margins. I can actually tell it to have narrow margins right here. See this? Go into margins and say, I want narrow margins. So immediately you see that my margins have decreased. I still have this white space. I wanna just do something about it, and we will do that in a bit. But as of now, this looks like a much more digestible, legible information. And I want to now go back. Now, remember the time it's the white space on the corner. This corner, the white space. Now I want to fix this. How do I do that? This is going to be view and page break view. Once you do that, it tells you how many pages it'll print on. We'll work on this in the next slide, in the next example as well. Let's go on to order 100 for now. Okay, let's clean it. So how do we clean it? We first go into view, we remove the grid lines, we select the headings, we make them bold, Calibri, highlight them, we remove, I'm just going to do it quickly. So we remove some of the headings that we don't necessarily need. I've pressed Control to select multiple headings so I can do it faster. And then I'll leave everything else. But if you go into view now and page break view, you will now see Excel is giving you pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. But there, you see these hashtags? These are because it's not adjusted properly. Okay. So now I can see my pages. Now, what basically it gives you is, I want to go into file, print. This is what I see, 6 pages. But I know I can print it better on landscape because the data has a lot of columns. So if I go back, now it's changed into landscape. Yep. But still I'm not getting the same data on one single page. So what I can do is, if I come here, you see my cursor changes. Zoom in, my cursor changes here. I can drag it towards the corner. And now I'll zoom out. I have 3 pages, 1, 2, and 3. My page number 1 is ending at 40. I want it to end at 30. I can drag it and put it up. My page 2 is starting from 30 and ending at, I want to end it at 65. And I'm in control of what I get to print. See this? I'm just zooming in and zooming out from here. So page 1, page 2, page 3, easy as. I can go into print, and now I have my data clean, nice, easy, as I wanted, 31 to 65 on second page and 66 to 100 on the third page. Okay, what I want, when I want, as I want. Now, some people also like to have those grids back. So to put in those grids, I'll just show you. really, really fast. You select this, you select everything right here next to AN1, select it, and you put in all borders. So now you have borders. Remember, the grids do not print, the borders print. So once you go here, you now have really nice borders. And this is how. Now, I understand some people are also finicky about, you know, the position of this. Why isn't it right in the center? We can help that. We can make that happen. Remember the margins, go into custom margin, and you can click on vertically, horizontally, and see this, it'll adjust. It'll adjust the data by itself. And there you go. Right in the center of the page, you have your good looking report. It's cleaner, it's what you want, it's how much you want on one single page, and you can print it without any issues. Let me go back. So I'll just repeat on what I just did. We spoke about, in the print option, we spoke about scaling. You can actually fit all the columns on one page. So which means it'll go longer, but it will not go wider. You can fit all the rows on one page, which means all 1 to 50 are going to be on the same page, regardless of how many columns you have. And then you can fit on one page, which is all the data on one single page. We spoke about the margins. You can have narrow margins, or you can put stuff in the center, horizontally and vertically. It'll look nicer with same margins on all sides. And then we discussed about portrait and landscape. The idea is that when you print out, you are taking up as much space as possible on the paper, and it's much more legible and it's much more cleaner. That's the whole idea. So the orientation, margins, and fitting the sheet on one single page is what we have learned here. The other thing we have learned is you're going to view and you're going to page break view. Normal view is this one, so it will not tell you how much is going to be printed. But if we go into page break view, this is what we get. This is how many pages. Similarly, if we go into order 100, okay, this will tell you page 1, 2, and 3. We can adjust the pages by going here and adjusting it to our need. Now, I hope that is something that is clearer. And let's talk about something else now. Now, this is an instance where, and if you could please come onto the summary sheet, the summaries. This is an instance where I have 3 report summaries, and I want to print them, but I don't want to print them together on one single page. I want to be able to print this one on one page, this one on the second page, and this one on third page. How do I do that in one go? It's very, very easy. You select the first report, first summary. You go into insert. Sorry, you go into page layout, not insert, page layout. Breaks, you see this page breaks. You go here, insert page break. You select the second one, insert page break. You select the third one, insert page break. Now, if I go into print, I go into view page break. Now see, I have 8 pages, and these 3 pages are the ones I'm interested in. I'm not interested in these pages. So what I'll simply do is I will drag this up. Pages are gone. I'll drag this here. Voila. I have 1 page, 2 page, and 3 page all on this same. I can adjust it so it's clearer. And now if I go into print, see this, I have 1 summary on 1 page, second summary on 1 page, and the third summary on 1 page. But I'm a little finicky about margins. I want everything to be in the center. So what do? I go into margins, custom margin, horizontal, vertical, done. Right in the middle. And there you have it. So again, it totally depends on what you're trying to do, what your need is, and basically the whole idea is to help you print out better stuff, better quality stuff, so you can have qualitative discussions on it. Everybody doesn't have to squint and really see the minute stuff on your Excel file. And yeah, so don't print everything that is required. Hide stuff, do not delete it. You never know when you're going to use it again. Adjust the headings if you have to, adjust the scale so nothing is. I'll just show you one thing, right? So if you did not adjust the United States and you go into printing, see this, it's going to cut. It's not going to print United States. So the best thing to do is come on to each row header and double click here, so it shows all of United States and all of the other stuff as well. So the best thing, the shortcut to do that is you select everything. You come here, you select all the rows, all the columns, sorry, and then on any one of the column you do this, and it'll come back. It'll adjust everything, but then it'll also unhide stuff. You'll have to hide them again. Okay, so that's the easier version to do it, easier, faster version to do it. So those are the few things that, let's go back and see if we have addressed them. So the data is printed across different pages. We did that. There is too much data on one page. We are going to use scaling. We're going to use the chaos method. I want to print different parts of Excel on in one go. We're going to go into insert page break. Again, I will show you. Summary, remember, we selected, I'll go into normal. So let's say I want to just print it till Aaron Smith. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say page layout, breaks, insert page break. So now only up until Aaron Smith, I can see it in one of the sheets. It should show me up until Aaron Smith. Here we go. So Aaron Smith, insert page break, and let's see. View, page break view. Now, the easiest, the best version to do, the best way to go is you go into view and go into page break. It'll give you a bird's eye view of what is going to be printed, how many pages are going to be printed. And so all you can do is adjust it up, and there you have it. So I don't want these to be printed. I will bring everything here. Now I just have one page being printed. I don't have 3 pages. I will just hold this, bring it here. I just have 1 page to print it, and I just wanted it Aaron Smith. I will just do it here. That's it. So now if I go into print, that's it, up until Aaron Smith, right in the center. I don't want it in the center. I want it at the top. I go into custom margin. I uncheck vertically, right at the top, right in the middle. Looks good. Okay. So that is how you can print different parts of Excel in one go. And how do you want to control your output? It's very, very easy. You know this now. You always go into, let's say 500, you go into view. There's a ribbon called view, and you go into page break. So you will get all the pages, however number of pages, and you can adjust them by taking the line and adjusting it. If you want to remove some of the data, you don't want to show this, you can make this solid line, come over here, and you say, I just wanted to print these things. So now it becomes page 1, page 2, page 3, and so on. But you see these hashtags, it's because we haven't adjusted the width of these columns. So let's adjust that as well. Right, so we have done our 5 problems. We have taken care of them. And do we have any questions now? Let's take some questions. If you have any questions, there's a button down there. Please feel free to put in your questions. And this is with regards to just printing, all right? We're not going into any other topic. We're restricting us to the 5 problem questions this time around only. If you have any questions, I'm gonna wait for you to put in your questions for another couple of minutes. And if not, then we are going to move forward with our shortcut of the day. Just waiting on you to type in your questions. You can type in by going down on your screen and asking a question. All right. How do you have the top row headings print on all or other pages? Okay. How do you repeat headings on the printer pages? Okay. That's a really good question. Right. Okay. So Chris has asked us a question. How do you have the top row headings print on all or other pages? Again, this is a question which Mario has also asked. So let's do that. I'm going to go back into Excel. Let's go back into order 100 for this example. Okay, so we go into page layout and we go into print title, which is right here. Here you go. I found it. So we go into page layout and print title, and we right here, you see this row to repeat at the top. We select and we just select this one, print preview, row to repeat. So see, now you have the rows right here. If you can see this, I will go back. Sorry, I will highlight it again. Home highlighted so you can see it better. So now what I've done is page layout, print titles, select the rows to repeat. I selected it from here to here. Okay. Now I will go into print view. You see this yellow part, yellow part, yellow part. So there you have it. That's your answer. Finally found it. Phew. So, and I had some help with this. Hanan, thank you very much for helping out. Yep. Now, any more questions? We are running out of time. Yep. Thank you, David. Thank you for, thank you, Marcelo, for responding to that. Thank you for helping me out. Great. Right. So here we have it. This is the Club Excel printing part. Shortcut of the month. We have 2 things this time around. F4. F4 is a button that I use a lot. I use it to repeat the last action. And this comes in handy in any of the any of the softwares of Microsoft. What I mean by that is I'm just going to give you a quick example. Let's say I want this part to be highlighted in yellow, and I want to repeat that to some of the different entries. So I have just made this yellow. I don't want to do anything else. I select the one I want to make yellow and I press F4, 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 F4. Wherever I select and press F4, it just repeats the last task. So if I delete this one, let's say I delete these 5 rows, I delete them. Now they're gone. Now I want to continue deleting stuff. All I need to do is select the rows and press F4 and the deleting will continue. Okay, so F4 is really handy when it comes down to saving your time to just click here, then click here, then click here, and then okay. You just keep selecting and keep deleting stuff, especially if you're working on a lot of data. Okay, but it only repeats the last action. So whatever action you've done. So for example, in PowerPoint, if I change the color of this particular thing into black, I go back, I press F4, everything turns into black. So it's easier, faster, and this is really there to save you time. The bonus feature this time around for Excel 365, and it's changed a lot. since I worked on 2016 version, and this is a really, really nice bonus feature that I found in the 365 version, is that if you know how you have some files that you are constantly working on, and these are the files which are open up here, but then they also go away because you've opened up so many files. The best thing to do is, let's say if I want the nomination IIS or final attendees color group, you see this pin right here? I will just select this pin, and this document is now pinned on my on the pinned ones right here. This document will always be pinned here. Okay, so it's pinned, and I can find it whenever I want right here in the pinned document. And if I want, I can unpin it or pin it back again. Okay, so any document that you want to be able to find it, just pin it up here, pin all of them, and pin to the list. Right click, pin to the list. So you have, should be coming. So I think I need to close it and open it again, and it'll be there. So once you unpin it and you pin it back, pinned files are always there. I plan on Excel, so this is my file, so I keep it pinned. And if I want to remove it, I can always unpin it by clicking here. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, is my time. I'm just going to close quickly. We discussed about scaling, fit to screen. We talked about page breaks and the margins. We did discuss about we got one question on how to repeat the headings. So we found that out, and with some help, and then page layout, you go in there and do it. The shortcuts of the day, we learned 2 of them. F4 repeats the last action, and then the pinning the important files onto your page. So whenever you're going to open, the pinned files are never going to go away, and that way you can save time and effort. So those are the 5 main problems. Again, the 5 main parts of Excel. We know that the data is printed across different pages. There's too much data on one page. I want to print different parts of Excel sheet in one go on one page. We did that. And then I want to control the printing output, where the data should come. Page break view is what we do it from here. We're just going to do a quick poll. Thank you for your participation. I am going to do a feedback poll. If you could please answer this, it would be really helpful for us to see if this is working, this method of learning, if this is working or not. We feel it's saving you time. It helps us reach more audience, and we want to understand if this is how you would like to continue, or would you rather prefer a classroom session or an e-learning session. I'm really thankful to you for joining and taking out your time. I'm super excited that we had so many people joining in, and we are live. We have gone on to live on the YouTube channel, and it will obviously be recorded, and you can access it later if you want to go back and see it. And thank you very much for your time. And that is it for this session. Again, thank you, and see you next time. We are going to be announcing the next session in 2 weeks, so that in the next 2 weeks before the next session. Thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye.